Hello again, ladies and gents. It is still the 3rd of September. I know 2 videos in a row. I'm on a roll. To be honest, I haven't even moved from my spot. I haven't started editing the previous one yet. But I think it's important to talk about what's in the news. Certainly in the UK, we are pushing full steam ahead on tyranny. That's where we're at. The first thing I want to talk about today is digital ID. Now, this is once again being pushed. This has been pushed since the Blair days. Blair has got a real hard-on for digital ID. I think it was first proposed in, was it 2011? Now, they don't get the memo that the British public keep on rejecting digital ID, and there is a genuine reason for that. We had it pushed where we live in a world of convenience. That's what the overall push it for, convenience. We've had rhetoric where we've got to impose digital ID to combat terrorism. On an aside, you can't combat terrorism when you are inviting and facilitating terrorists. I'm just going to put that out there. And then in 2020, now, this is when I really come out and warned about it, that digital ID was going to be part of the COVID rhetoric. COVID was there to lay a lot of the foundations for what we see now. When you wonder what COVID was all about, this is what it was about. They tried to push digital ID with a digital vaccination certificate. Now, this was pushed so you could go into pubs, into clubs, into public areas, fly to different countries. In 2020, in the COVID era, this is when they were going to make it mandatory across the world. Because without a digital ID, without a certificate of vaccination, you could not partake in the world. And they really thought they had it. But because of people in the truth circle, we pushed back, and a lot of other people pushed back, so this thing never went through. But I still have leftists and COVID believers coming and telling me digital ID, the COVID vaccination, was never going to be a thing. They were just touting the idea, and it wasn't going to be mandatory. Well, I kept on telling them, you're lying. Well, they said, where is it? I said, it will be back. And I've said that many times, that it will be back. The naysayers just wouldn't have it. Now the digital ID is back. Now, this time, it's back, and the UK looks adamant on really pushing this, making it a mandatory ID. They push it as combating illegal migration, and just know this is bollocks. This is another way they are trying to soften the nation into accepting this, and I tell you what you're going to do. Look at the Online Safety Act. Look at the Communications Act. All these things that have been pushed through to curtail your freedom of speech and, very soon, your freedom of movement. When you have the British government pressuring US companies like Apple, WhatsApp, and the likes to put backdoors into their encryption service, which apparently, supposedly, they're not even supposed to have backdoors to. Now, the reason we have encryption is for safety and privacy. And Apple did take them to court. And from what I hear, Apple won. But they want backdoors built in. Now, you imagine if they have their very own digital ID, which is built in-house and managed in-house. Now, you can imagine the backdoors in that. You can imagine the privacy issues. It's no longer about, it's not convenience. It's never been about convenience. It's been about surveillance. The convenience aspect is used to push and manipulate you into accepting this. If you do accept this, now it's a digital ID which is going to be on your phone, everyone's primary device. Now, if you have backdoors into this, they can build mechanisms in there that can detect everything you do on your phone, every single thing from a text message to a call to your browser, all the live action of your phone, but more importantly, the location. Everybody has the phone. This is what they are trying to get hold of. Information from you. They want to manage and surveil every single citizen. And every single citizen, about 99% of citizens have mobile phones. 99% of citizens carry mobile phones everywhere on them. Now, imagine your phone is no longer private. Your phone, everything you do on your phone, to your position, to your private text messages, to your personal emails, is all going to a government server, which can be accessed and tracked back at any time. There is no anonymity anymore. There is no privacy. And this is why digital ID is so important to them. We have ID. We have passports. We have driving licenses. I know I'm going to have the naysayers that go, yeah, but they can be forged and, manipulated. It is so much easier to manipulate digital code, to manipulate an app than what it is actual paper documents. It really is. And I know there are such things as data miners, and I hope if this thing does go through, the data miners are straight there. They are going to be smart. They are not going to list their code with the actual things they're doing, but data miners are smart as well. Truth of everything buried in that code should, and I believe will, come to light. This government aren't smart. They'll pay ridiculous amounts of money to it, but they'll pay someone quite incompetent to do it. So you can guarantee it's like all government websites, government run things. With there being no competition, they sink loads of money into it and get a substandard result. You know, when was the last time you were on the DVLA or your council website and anything government ran? It's like navigating a website from the 90s, you know, but these things cost lots of money because they don't care. It's your money. They don't care what it costs. They'll pay over the odds. Digital ID is a thing you got to say no to. If they get digital ID, it's going to take you to the next route. And that route is something I've warned extensively about, which is CBDCs, the Central Bank Digital Currencies. These become relevant. I've been shouting about these for certainly the past 5 years, about how dangerous it is for a CBDC to come into effect. Now, I have said many, many times that the overall design is to crash the economy. I have warned about this for many, many years. They can't implement everything they want on the current economy we have with current cash in circulation. Now, here in the UK, we have Rachel Reeves as a chancellor. How the hell she got that job is beyond me. But we have her. She is decimating this country. Our borrowing alone is through the roof. We have unaccounted money, what they call a black hole, of now 50 billion. And it's now a couple of weeks on, so that's going to be even bigger. We are on the verge of approaching the IMF for a bailout. Now, this does have a good side of it as well. If we have to approach the IMF for a bailout, Rachel Reeves is gone. There has to be a vote of no confidence. If we go into something as serious as an IMF bailout, that is seriously bad news for the UK economy. Herein lies the rub. We can apply for an IMF bailout, but there is no guarantees. Now, when I say crash the economy, this is what I mean. Look across all of the nations. Now, the USA has maxed out their debt to GDP, a couple of hundred trillions in debt. Japan is, I think, 200 and something % their GDP, and we are over 100% of our GDP. When you go to the IMF for a bailout, it comes from other countries. Now, if these countries are maxing out their GDP, their borrowing's through the roof. And I think it's only Germany that have quite a good debt to GDP ratio. Now, Germany holds a lot of debt from other countries. Now, getting an IMF bailout is not guaranteed. Just after we got the news of the UK may have to approach the IMF, France has decided to come out and say that their economy is in a right mess also. Now you have France and the United Kingdom in economic chaos. Here comes the problem with this. The IMF will not only struggle to help out a country, but it is really going to struggle to help out too. And when you consider the top 6 is the United Kingdom, the USA certainly, Germany, China, if China's willing to help us. And I think 5th or 6th is France and the United Kingdom. So we are the 2 countries in the top 6 that could facilitate an IMF bailout, and we are 2 that's in trouble. Now, when you add this to other countries' debt to GDP ratios, it makes it very unlikely that even one country will get an IMF bailout. And if it was, it would be France, because from what I believe, it'll be Germany that takes on most of the load of this, and Germany already holds a lot of debt from France. And if France goes under, you know, that's dead debt. So my prediction would be, if the IMF were going to bail anyone out, it would be France over the UK. The bigger picture to this is it's all by design. It's all planned. And this is what I've been saying, crash the economy. It goes to show how bad Rachel Reeves is when Starmer's come out with a cabinet shuffle. Now he has other economists helping and watching over Rachel Reeves. Now, if that doesn't say, I've got no confidence in you being able to do your job, I don't know what does. If we do not get an IMF bailout, there are a few avenues we can go to. We can raise taxes, which is certainly what they're going to do. We have an issue where if you raise the tax too much, people are going to refuse to work. It's the 0 scale to 100% scale. If you charge 0 tax, people work as normal or even work more, and the government does not benefit. If you charge 100% tax, then people don't see the point of work, and why would anyone work for nothing? And the outcome will be the same. They get 0 tax. So They're going to have to play it safe. If they raise tax by even 10%, and certainly I believe they're going to just lower the scale. The higher earners pay 40% tax and the lower on the 20%. I believe they're going to bring that down to the lower earners paying 40% tax. Now, if they do that, people are not inclined to work. They certainly wouldn't be working extra hours, putting in overtime, because it would be pointless at this point. If they don't raise the tax, they're not going to get the revenue. Conversely, if they raise the tax too much, they're not going to get the revenue. The outcome is going to be identical. The one thing Labour needs to do, and they really need to do this because their spending is ridiculous. We have the illegal immigration, which is costing this country billions. We have outside sources helping to fund proxy wars for a start, climate change. These are all things that are taking billions out the public purse every year. The Labour government needs to cut spending. That's what they need to do. We have frivolous things what the government is throwing money at to crash the economy. They need to cut back spending. The NHS is a funny one because we do waste a lot of money on the NHS. There is a lot of waste in the NHS, but with the state of the NHS, cutting it might make it worse. We can then make cuts in the benefit system. We have people who are fraudulently claiming benefits what they're not entitled to. When I say we need to make a cut on benefits, I'm not saying cut the welfare state out. If you're entitled, you're entitled. That goes for disabilities and the basics. Also, on that note, is illegal immigration is the elephant in the room, because we now have up to 1 million people, if not more, to be honest, that are on the benefit system, which is putting a major strain on it. All these ideas and actions the government's actually implementing are having a real negative effect on the economy. It is their doing. And this is what I'm saying. Countries are doing this on purpose, because if they crash the economy, here's my prediction. The economy is going to struggle. CBDCs across the world are ready to go, but it's how they implement them that is the crucial point. Because if you just rush out a CBDC, it's not going to get adoption, and then it will be considered a failure. So they need to be careful with how they roll out a CBDC. Now, here's my prediction. Unemployment is going through the roof. The benefit system there is a lot of money hemorrhaging from the benefit system. In the same time that they're putting more pressure on the benefit system by cutting down employment. So I believe what they're going to do is they're going to reshuffle the benefit system. They are going to release the CBDC alongside cash. It will run independently of cash, but will flow in the same way. So it will be, in effect, interchangeable. Now, what they will do is they will make it mandatory, a condition, that if you're on benefits, the only way your benefit is going to be paid is through a CBDC, which will be tied to your digital ID. I've outlined a few problems with CBDCs. Is one, once they're implemented, they track every single purchase you make, every single bit of money you've got coming in, going out, they are tracked. You can put time restrictions on them. So say for benefits, you get paid on the first of the month. The last day of the month, if you haven't spent all your money, you lose it. The next day, you'll get your allowance back. So say you get £500 a month. Oh, to be fair, when they first started, I think it's going to be generous. I think it's going to be around £1,500 a month. That's my guess. They'll give about £1,500 a month. But if you don't spend that £1,500, at the end of the month, it's gone. They will put a limitation onto how much you can actually have. So say they have a maximum allowance of £3,000. Once you hit £3,000, you can no longer add any more value to your CBDC wallet, which is tied to your digital ID. And not only that, people like me, I'm a dissident. I'm anti-government. Certainly in 2025, I am very anti-government. For people like me, they just cut me off. This is why you see banks struggling, banks not carrying cash, and this new thing where it's going to take days to get a certain amount of money passed through if you're doing a bank transfer. It's absolutely ridiculous, the way they're doing it. But I digress. Sorry, that was a big aside. They will have a huge unemployment crisis. So what they will do, they will use that moment to trial a CBDC. And a stipulation of CBDC is that's how your benefits paid. So you will need a digital ID. Inside that digital ID, you will have a digital wallet. Your CBDCs from your benefits get paid directly to that. Now, when you have countless millions on benefits and say they trial the CBDCs for a year, running alongside cash, with the stipulation being the only way you can claim benefits now is getting a CBDC. Ultimately, it would rule the CBDC as a success. And that's where we have the problem, because now the CBDC is rolled out. It was voluntary to people with non-benefits. You could add CBDCs to your digital ID wallet if you want. But then when they deem it a success and the economy is that bad, there's no way they can save cash at this point. Cash will then go and the whole new monetary system will come in. This is the ultimate vision of top-down control. It really is. And I've said in many videos, once we get to this point, it's going to be near impossible to fix anything, because it's not that we can't rebuild. We can go back to a bartering stage and rebuild up the economy with traditional cash. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's impossible. But when they get to this point, the cash is going to be the last thing they change, meaning that everything they've had planned is ready to go. Cash is the last thing. So they've got all the ducks in a row. No to digital ID. And just keep watching the economy. The pound has already dropped in value overnight. Quite a bit. Now, in a previous video, I was talking about the economy and democracy and communism. In there was a statement that the markets dictate the economy, and they really do. And when you look at the markets and the pound is losing value rapidly, if it drops too far, the pound may never recover, because the pound is now an unsafe investment. And when you have an unsafe investment, it affects our borrowing power, our ability to pay back, our value as a country. This is where it's all heading, and I've been saying this for many years, and I've always said that the power is in money. We are the 99%, we have the power. But while you keep putting your power in money, they have your power. They are using your power against you. Now, I've said many times, they're going to crash the economy anyway. I've said for a long time that we need to affect them with money, like down tools for a month or even a week. Stop purchasing. Feed as little money into the government pot as you can, and you will see change really quickly. But at this point, I feel you'll just be helping them to their ends. The only hope you can ask for, you're making them do it off their timescale, so they may still surrender, but there's no guarantees, because if we do that, we can facilitate crashing the economy, and then the blame can then get put on us. So at this point, I don't know what to say. I really don't. All I can guarantee you is, look, I've been telling you this for years. I know my information never gets out there, but we really have gone beyond the point of no return. To get back to where we were is going to be a massive uphill struggle. I've said it before, it's going to take all of us, because this affects all of us. This means the patriots, the leftists, every minority. To an extent, it doesn't matter your political views, it doesn't matter your religious views, your sexual orientation. It affects us all. And to the people on the left, you may think I'm a clown, you may think I'm an idiot, because I believe that you're undereducated, I think you're intellectually bankrupt. But when the world goes wrong, when these people you're fighting for turn against you, when your comfortable lifestyle of your money and things disappears, who are you going to turn to help you? This is why I keep on warning you, need to be careful how far you push. You may not realize it, but you are on the wrong side of history right now. And when this goes tits up, the patriots will be a damn sight stronger than you. We have more resolve, and you will be begging us for help. Now, you don't want a point where you do that and we turn around and refuse you help. You will be on the outside, because we are fighting to fix this. This is the point. This is what the flags are about. This is what the protests are about. This is what our voice is about. It's not about racism. It's not about nationalism. We can see where the world is going. Everything is a pattern. All you have to do is step back and look at the bigger picture. Now, if we fight for this country and win, even though you have made it harder for us and you're getting our way every step of the way, when we win, where do you think you're going to fit in society? You will be snubbed. You will have no part in society we rebuild. Already, there are many people calling for deportation of illegal immigrants, not through racism, for economic reasons, for safety reasons. And we now have people calling for you to be deported with them. When we fix the country, this country is ours. The world is not simple, and what I talk about sounds out there, but it's not. Everything I've said for the past 5 years has come true, or coming true. We in this circle are not stupid people. We can see. We know. It's time that you opened your eyes and realize the truth. People you trust, the governments, the TV, every single institution, corporations, pharma, Big tech, they are all lying to you to keep you stupid. This is what indoctrination's about. It's about fueling and filling your belief system with their rhetoric. So just realise and wake up and join us in the fight, instead of getting in our way.